Good idea.
I can start the timer. Right now, I have to put this whole button down after I run over the other phone. Left on the hood of the car going down the path.
Well, you can see how bad I am.
Him and my granddaddy.
Once I get one figured out, I do not
Still got flip
I was working on brakes on the Mustang to go down the
It took me a
highway.
long time.
Picked up speed to see something black. I got seen the stone the other day. Two semi-trucks and a pickup run over before you got the highway.
like they were arguing.
One of them moved over and run, but I was walking on the side of the road. Three decided they want to go move, and everyone got that jacket getting on the phone.
Today's 21st.
All right, 6 o'clock. Meeting the Ag Center Committee meeting. Again, like the mayor's dismissed and give you some prayer.
Father, we're thankful today. We're thankful for blessings of life. We're thankful for the opportunities you give us, Lord. And thankful for the opportunity you give us to be here tonight, Lord. We're thankful for this wonderful facility you've given us, Lord. We just ask that you to be with us, be with everything that's done and said here, and everything being according to your will tonight, Lord. We ask you to watch over and care for us. And that's all. Thank you in your name. Amen. Stand and face the flag. Face the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first person on the agenda is Mr. Whit Ash. The mayor, Brett, you want to ask him here, correct?
We put the rodeo on one this past year and this year too. Did the first one and did a great job. And we just wanted him to be here tonight and let him kind of talk about the ring a little bit maybe. And if you need anything else, and just kind of wanted y'all to meet him if you hadn't met him before. Couldn't live over in Hardin County. He just down the road from us.
Well, most of you know all my family's from over here too. So, just a quick synopsis of it, guys. Last year had about 600, I think, paid spectators in on Friday night. Around 1,200 and some odd on Saturday night. I know we did have an issue on Friday night with people sneaking in. I think we remedied that on Saturday night, so I don't think we had as many people sneaking in then. So that's not counting the free tickets and stuff like that, and the giveaway tickets and all that. So over 2,000 people, were here to watch the rodeo last year. And like I said, I do believe it was a big success. Did have a lot of support from the businesses in the county. Like I said, we extremely appreciate that because we can't do it without them. This year, again, we were able to grow a little bit more. So, like I said, we're gearing up for another successful rodeo, we hope. I know last year we had a little bit of an issue with parking. Like I said, we've had meetings to address that. I think we've got a better plan this year to take care of it. Where we got the contestants parking in a little bit different area, so they're not jammed in here as bad. And if they need to leave when they get done, they can get out a little bit easier. And hopefully, like I said, spectators won't have as much trouble either. All right, guys. I mean, everything else was really smooth. I think we've got everything else taken care of with the help from the county and everything. Really, I didn't have anything prepared. I want to answer any of y'all's questions that you might have about the event.
11 under 3 too in your rodeo, right?
Well, yeah, 12.
At 12.
12, yeah.
Well, of course, you're one of the most successful events that we've held thus far with this building facility. What do you foresee we need to do to make this a better facility for you or similar events we could be having?
For rodeo in particular, we're great. I mean, like I said, there's things that could be icing on the cake, but we're able to put an event like this on the way it is very successful. The discussions I've had, I believe, with you, Brad, with the mayor and stuff, for other equine events, whether it be roping, barrel races and things like that, like I said, the lean-to off the back would be very advantageous because we want to be able to utilize as much of the arena as you see right here for that event, for the barrel racing, or for the team roping, or for the horse show, whatever. A lean-to off the back would allow for places to put stock, places to warm up, things like that. I mean, like I said, it really would help. And in bad weather, like I said, when the horses are coming in and out, they're not having to stand out there in rain and lightning and things like that. Of course, I mean, the amount of stalls y'all have right now is very good, but that's just a revenue builder. So the more stalls, the bigger event you can have. Like I said, the more money you're going to generate from stall rental on each one. And like I said, I do believe, I think the plan would be like to double what's there. Another 58, 60 stalls, I think would be quite acceptable for most any size event you're going to have in this area.
What about the proposal about buying the panels and chutes and all that?
That's all in that.
Is that gonna be more helpful to you if you do rodeos? It's like here on site.
Okay, so for the professional rodeo side, like I said, like this event and even our one in the fall, Rocket K, Mr. Tony Keaton, he has, this is his arena. So he would be, he would like to probably use his more than one that's on site. Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't, or even, pay a little extra to be able to use one that's on site, but I couldn't bank on that, Where that's gonna help you is to be able to have like junior rodeos, high school rodeos, events like those that are not so much spectator based, that are, youth competition level. Some of those associations don't have their own arena. It's a lot easier for them to go to places that already have one set up. Anyway, and those are even more generating because, like I said, a lot of times, like the high school rodeo was a 2-day event. They're buying stalls. They're renting the stalls here. They're here all day long with the slack and with the performance those days. They're eating at the concession stand all day long instead of just for an hour, 2-hour event. So, if I had to put it in tier levels, and like I said, I've had this conversation with the mayor and with Valerie when she was here. I think the panels and pins and things like that would be more important to have than the full arena. If you bought the panels and stuff first, if you had to pick one or the other, panels to divide up pins for cell rings, things like that, would probably be more advantageous for the facility than a full rodeo arena. But it's just all what you've got planned on coming and things like that.
Yeah, all those panels, both those panels are in the PDEC thing.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But
What would you need, or what might we do on this board to help you with this weekend event?
Mr. Hunt, I think we've got pretty much everything, taken care of right now. And God willing, everything went off fairly smooth last year, and, we hope to see that again. We've got, security taken care of. We've got, ambulances taken care of here. Most of the rest falls on us, as far as the actual facility, I don't know, what can be done right now from y'all, or looking in the future that's, would better our event right now. Like I said, I think everything, that should be, taken care of from y'all's end is.
Does anybody else have anything for Mr. Ash? We appreciate you being here with us. You are welcome at any of our committee meetings, county commission meetings, either one, to express your opinion on what's going on here at this building.
Appreciate it, guys. Like I said, I hope to see y'all this weekend. And I'll be around hanging signs and stuff, so just come find me if you need anything.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, in your packet, you will see a list of the paid sponsorships, what they pay.
Can't ask for police to put that together. And she's been working on it, quite a extensive list, and had to go back to a lot of paperwork. But anyway, that's as accurate as we can get of the sponsors, the level of sponsors, and so on like that we have. And up to this point.
Larry, I'm sure you got a total on your page.
I don't have a total on it.
You don't really?
You know,
I ain't believe
because,
it.
I mean, it's hard to do a total because a lot of them was Milton Trace Atkins
Yeah.
sponsors only, and, what are we gonna total? I didn't get a total on the whole thing, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 that are annual sponsors, you know, for the event center right now. And some of those kind of expired, but they still have, you know, a banner, and still appreciate what they've done to help with it. But, anyway, some of y'all had asked me to do that, and again, it took a little while to put it together.
Several $1,000s there on the second page.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the one titled Out Here Friday Pie Festival from Mass Tire?
That's just when Mass gave his money for the annual sponsorship. It was at 5/31/24.
On the next page is events list that are scheduled right now in January. Of course, the rodeo, 24th, 25th. And then the indoor Big Bang softball is February the 1st, 8th, and 15th. And UT Extension's having a sprayer cleaning February 19th. Then the best of McNary will be the 22nd of February. You got the Mitre and Beefmaster sale, April the 25th and 26th. And a youth rodeo, May the 2nd and 3rd, the Reinhardt Youth Rodeo. I think there's some other things that may be in the works later, whatever.
And the Evening Park Working Center tomorrow, they want to have 2 events this year. They're going to have the Christmas event, and they're also going to have another event prior to that, like they do every year. We'll meet tomorrow and have a conversation about that. And, I've had someone else reach out about a registered cattle sale too. And as Whit said there a minute ago, those panels for the floor seem like it would be a reasonable investment for us, especially if we file through that grant. But there is a lot of interest in that, and they do pay well.
They have been used that kind of high school rodeo here too.
That's right, that's what Keith is back there, and I think I saw Mitch too somewhere, but they are very interested in, youth rodeo and trying to help promote their youth in our county. That's what this is all about. I see you there now, you're in disguise, but, that's what that's all about. It's not about a money maker for them, it's about doing something good for the kids and promoting them. And I'd like to see the high school, both high schools get involved in that, right? You want to talk about that, you're welcome to talk about it too.
I mean, it's just, you know, it's one of those is you kind of got to fit everything to them to have them, but if you can, you know, if we get to the point where we can get the high school here, it'll be an event that, you know, like it's not a big ticket sales event, but it'll be an event that those kids will come in here. It starts Saturday morning through Sunday. They'll be here Friday night. Most of them, 75% will come in on Friday night, Friday afternoon, and you have them here until Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. So therefore, you get them to eat 2 or 3 times in the community. Most of them will fill up the truck when they leave. It's not going to be a big ticket sales for this event, but it will bring a lot of revenue, I think, into the town because you get those people there for all weekend. There's definitely some stuff that one of them's the stalls. They want more stalls, but also you can not necessarily add stalls, but you can add more ground space, just dirt parking, so people can stay overnight. And that's one thing, like I'm not one for spending a whole bunch of extra money. I think there's some investments we can do just to enhance what we have without without spending another $50,000 or $100,000. One of them is just a dirt parking lot because those people, like when you get here on Friday, you got to stay Friday night, Saturday night, so you got to have somewhere to put your horses. Well, if they got 100 horses here, we got 50 stalls to rent. You know, I mean, you're not going to justify another $100,000 stall barn, but you can justify a $10,000 parking spot for them. It shouldn't even cost that much. Just have dirt, you know, a good dirt spot, grass, and you also need a warm-up spot. You know, there's really nowhere to warm up horses, even for Whit's rodeo, but just, and that's another thing, it's not gonna cost a lot of money. Down below the hill over here, just where the garbage excess was left, you know, we clean it up and put some sand, dirt or something in there, and then the old panels that was left, they're over here behind the building, we can get them out, put them in there, and then when somebody calls and say, hey, what do you got? We have an arena, we got parking, we have some stalls, we have a warm-up arena, where now we have an arena, like 50 stalls. And so that's stuff that's the little stuff that I see that you can do without a major investment with just adding to what we have already here. And again, you know, where we're at, I feel like we need to try to enhance what we got, but not go completely out till we get our schedule more full. So that's kind of where, and we go to a bunch of rodeos last week. We was at Rainsville, Alabama, pretty much the same setup as this. They had 2 more stall barns, a warm-up arena, lots of other, you know, other stuff. And so Sunday morning I went in the concessions in there, talked to the lady, and just, you know, quiz her about, you know, how you get to the point they're at, because they have, and I took pictures, me and Justin took pictures of everything they got, and they was more than willing to open up and talk to you and tell you, you know, what they had, what was going on. And so the lady told me, I asked her, you know, what their schedule was, and she was hired by the town or county, whichever one runs it, but to run the concessions. And she said, here's my schedule. She said, we're booked nearly every weekend of the year. She said, I work the restaurant, and she said, it's just a part-time job, but she said, I'm here every weekend. So, you know, in that, I go to quizzing her about, you know, what kind of stuff they have. And like last weekend was just the Little Britches, they have a fundraiser, and so they didn't make, I'm sure they rented the building for whatever it cost. Had the fundraiser for the Little Britches rodeos that they have there, and it was probably 100 people there. So, you know, concessions, they didn't sell probably anything, I'm sure, and she told me that. And so, but she also went on to tell me, am I talking to quizzing her in it, about their concessions, and she said next weekend they have the bull riding, 2 days of bull riding, and she said, what do you think my concessions next weekend will do? And I'm, you know, I don't know, 5,000, 7,000. She said, we'll make 20,000 next week, concessions, because those people are there, you know, 2 nights and long afternoons. And so with that, I went on to quiz her about, you know, other events, and she showed me the schedule, and it was, you know, cutting horses, Little Britches rodeos. There were some go-kart things on there. Their schedule, we thought we could pull it up, but we didn't. We hadn't been able to. But like I said, she was more than willing, and she said there was 2 more barns that they had added this year in 18 years. So that's obviously, you know, definitely work in progress. So you know, I feel like that's kind of, there's stuff we can do to enhance and get started, and then we can add on that other stuff when it comes to it. So. But I definitely think, you know, like I said, the warm-up and the dirt parking and stuff like that, that's some stuff that we can do that's not going to cost us a fortune to add on, that's definitely an asset to our building to get people here. The high school, they can't come right now with our 50 stalls and only gravel parking. We can't get them people here to spend the night because we don't have access for the horses overnight. So hookups, we talked about them at one point. I definitely think hookups is a positive, but just like last weekend, it's not a have to. They have hookups. They have full RV hookups over there where it's at. Some people use them, some people don't. Pretty much everybody has their generator. So, in my opinion, you leave the hookups off and do the other stuff that's more appealing until you get to that point, and then you can add them in.
If we're gonna have like a registered quarter horse or whatever show here at the arena, that's one thing that does require more stalls.
It does.
A lot of them will bring 3 or 4 horses.
Yeah.
Themselves.
Yeah. And also another thing, and we talked about it whenever we built the building, the lean-to off of the back. They had, I don't know, we figured theirs up. It was I don't know, 60 by 100. Just a lean-to, open lean-to off the back.
It was bigger than that.
And that makes your arena way more accessible to be able to use your whole arena for the whatever you're having in here, instead of having as many, like just like with this, if we wanted to, you could set the back pins outside and just the bucket shoots in the arena, just gives you more floor space. And that's something, you know, it obviously costs to put a roof over it, but it's not like adding another 100 foot of enclosed heat and cooling.
The arena that's in that grant is 60 by 120 is what it is. And that is what, based off the panels, if we get all the future panels that we have here, it'll take that to cover that, plus somewhat on the semi back there. You have a cattle shed we're wearing, that's an issue too for it. So all that stuff's in that grant.
How big does a warm-up arena need to be?
I mean, anything but I'd say 100 foot, probably 100 by,
Circle be good.
I mean, 100 by 150 is plenty good, but, you know, whatever we had would definitely be a plus to what we got already. But, you know, like most of them, they'll be about the size of an arena. Most of them will be 100 foot wide, 150 long or something. But, it needs to at least be 100, you know, 60 by 100. It'd have to be that.
But that's not something under roof.
No, it's just an open outside. You know, you need to put a little bit of sand in it just so that if it was a little bit damp, you could still be accessible.
I think there's enough panels left out there that.
There's definitely enough panels. I mean, there was a whole arena, you know, when we took it down, so there's definitely enough panels to do that.
There was a few that came, all the pieces were
Yeah.
really bad, they were thrown away, or carried to the
Yeah.
ground, but anyway, most of them are still there. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Could I ask some questions, please? I'll tell you who I am before I go to ask a question. I'm Ricky Young. I've been raised here in the county, been here all my life. I'm president of the West Tennessee Quarter Horse Association. I sit on the national board of the Palomino Horse Breeders of America. We're headquartered out of Tulsa. I run a horse training operation. We show horses all over the United States. Quarter horses, Palomino horses, different breeds. And I was kind of wondering, what is the plans as far as expanding with the hookups, the stalls, the arenas? Because to have any kind of a breed show, even a small breed show, you're looking at a minimum of 100 stalls. You're looking at have to have hookups, and you're looking at, you could do some modification on this pen, this covered arena you've got out here to make a temporary warm-up pen. You'd extend that out and have part of it under roof and part of it not under roof.
That was not ours, that belongs to the school system, Rick. That's not ours.
But we couldn't get access to that if we're gonna let the school system use our arena.
Well, yeah, we probably could.
We've got y'all have a great start on this. You did, me and Larry talked about this a lot. We have a great start on this, because I've shown in county facilities all over the United States. This arena is as nice an indoor arena as you'll find in any county, anywhere, just about. We just don't have the infrastructure around it to bring the events in that would use this type of arena.
We have every piece to complete this, in that TDEC grant. Everything is included to complete this arena to its maximum. And that includes the panels and pins that goes in the 60 by 120 lean-to that you're talking about out back. It includes the parking for the overnight stay that you're asking about, that will be down behind, you know, where you and I talked about off that bluff back behind there. And more parking over here, take some of this dirt out of this hill and move it into that low spot where it drops off here, and make more parking there. We can double the size of our parking pretty easily without a lot of work, mostly.
What's the status on maybe eventually expanding your stall barn, building another stall barn?
Well, that's in that grant also.
What kind of time frame are we looking at?
You know, that's up to this committee, and well, I've already had the architect try to, we planned, or we talked about putting that building, and you and I talked about it that day, adjacent, just off of the other building, about 12, 15 foot. Well, that's going to put it too close to this building. If you have a sprinkled building, like this building is sprinkled now, it has to be 60 foot off a sprinkled building, and we'd have to sprinkle it too. So we're going to have to move the location of it, and I've asked the architect has actually done some drawing toward putting that at the back. And I talked about it the other day, but if we put it in the back of the gravel parking lot, it's gonna hinder us, especially after we put that 60 by 120 lean-to on, it's gonna hinder us back there for space. So we'll probably drop it down behind back there, kind of in line above where the overnight parking would be, kind of more in line with that building that's out there. So, as soon as he gets something drawn, we're gonna meet again where everybody can kind of see what he's talking about. Because again, I only found out about that building at Formalizing not that long ago. That's gotta be done different now.
So clarify the grant, has that been applied for?
No, it's been awarded. It's sitting there awarded. See, we changed. We had ball fields and different things up here. And we went back and repurposed the grant. The county commission did. So when we repurposed the grant, we talked about and thought about what we needed to complete this before you start something else, so to speak. Nick, so that's where we're at. We have every piece of everything we need. And actually they went back, it was $2.8 billion is what it was. And they went back and added $400,000 to it because they thought we would need it with what we were talking about doing. So it's $3.2 million.
So you're saying the money's sitting there, it just has to be decided and approved how to move forward?
Like the hard surface panels were part of that grant, and that was kind of a difficult process. It took several months to work through that. PDEC and that LPRF grant is probably one of the most difficult grants to work through that's available, and it's all done through a portal, and it's a real challenge. But anyway, it took about 4
Well,
months.
have y'all as a county commission considered putting a committee together of these guys from the rodeo outfit, people from the horse show outfit, the people from the car enthusiasts, and getting somebody to come in and sit down and talk with y'all more face to face instead of a general deal like this, and say, this is what I need for my events. What I need for my events is gonna be a little different than what
I agree
Mitch
with
is
you.
gonna need for
I
his.
agree with you, but that's the committee we had in place. We had 12 members exactly like that. None, well, there was one county commissioner on there in the beginning, but everybody else was made up of people, and all these guys here were on that committee. Reinhardt, both Reinhardts were on it, and other people. The school superintendent was on it because we wanted to make sure that schools would, use the building and have use of the building and so on. And school superintendent was on it, and Jay Thompson was on it because of his tie with the Department of Agriculture. And we had a 12-member committee like that, and the commission wanted to dissolve that committee and establish this committee. So that's where we're at with that today. But
Well, that's well and good.
I agree.
From y'all's expertise, from the government standpoint of it, but from what they need, from what I need, from what somebody else needs, y'all, if I was in y'all's place, I'd want some information as what I needed to be able to rent this place
that's
out.
the reason we put that committee together, to get what we have here today. That's 100% why we did that, or I did that years
So
ago.
y'all wanted to dissolve that committee?
We wanted, the motion was made by Keith, correct?
That's right.
That this structure was built with approval from whole commission, line by line. Mayor didn't do anything he wasn't supposed to do. But there was never a point that any elected county commissioner was involved in the decision makings of this building, in which we are required to balance a budget in front of this building.
And then there was one in the beginning, Sybil Dancer was on it until she lost the election. Sybil
Okay.
served on it because of her Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
We wanted her to be on there, so I did.
And I don't mean that statement negative against Larry, and I definitely don't mean it negative against the people of individual entities. Whit's worried about this building 4 days a year. Brad Hunt's worried about this building 365 days a year. I need to know what's going on. Everybody on this committee needs to know what's going on. Now, where we've got to in tonight's meeting is ultimately a situation of, we've got a couple of events planned from now to May. The pink elephant in the room is, what's this building cost this county to operate? Right now our budget's $360,000 a year, correct, Mayor?
331.
331. Couple of grand a day. These list of events between now and May, 6 months. Now, I've had to answer these questions privately. since last Monday night. There is no hardship or negativity about what's on this sheet of paper between now and May. It's just not full yet. We gotta find more things to do.
Yeah,
Gotta find
every
bigger things to
weekend.
do.
Yeah, every weekend needs to be full.
Now, the way I would like to see something change. Number one, we've got to fill a vacant spot here. That vacant spot is the director. We have had 2 former directors, and both of them done excellent jobs while their tenure was with the county. But there have been conflicts. In those conflicts, we need to make sure that our job descriptions are worked to where it works better for the mayor, where the mayor has time to be mayor and not bundled down with this facility constantly. And we need a situation to where there's a hierarchy of who's in control. Everybody, and I do not mean this negative about anybody, everybody's done a wonderful job thus far. We built this baby, and it would not have been built if that man right there wasn't our mayor of McNair County, for better or worse. He pulled something off that I didn't think would ever happen. He brought tonight an archive.
Yeah, 1970.
1970?
Yeah,
1970.
we found that last week.
Many of us weren't born when the first designs and thought process of this structure being built were created. With that being said, though, what we have done has had many, many flaws. And we need to kind of fix those to go forward. A subcommittee needs to be made. That subcommittee needs to advise this committee of what to do. This committee needs to advise the county commission what to do. If the public does not like the way the county commission operates, we have an election next year. Change your elected officials. If you don't like the way this committee is working, you can harp on the mayor enough. If you don't like Brad Hunt sitting on this table, but the mayor has the authority to take Brad Hunt off of this committee next fall. If you put these things in place, folks, there's nothing wrong with disagreements at all. We've all got a different opinion, but we've got to put a structure in place that allows for the difference of opinions and the difference of direction, but most importantly, makes this building move closer from a county deficit to a break-even point, where then we can then talk about tax revenue this structure and this facility is bringing into our county. That's the whole point of this building, is trying to generate more dollars for this county. I would like to say that all commissioners in 2 terms who served part-time on, people filled in void, have all voted positively for the creation of this structure.
64 votes, positive, unanimous.
So, we're pretty vested.
I've never said this building was going to be a cash cow in Payne County, but like at the end of last month, after the trace event, sales tax increased $33,000 in the county. I'm not saying that's why totally, but
It did affect it positively somehow.
it had to. When we had the rodeo last year and we had the softball 3 Saturdays, 2 or 3 Saturdays of softball and the rodeo, in January of last year, sales tax was up $130,000. And we had 2 weeks of winter weather at that time too. Not saying it's all rodeo, not saying it's all this building, but I am saying it's a positive impact on Manning County. So those things.
How much money did the Trace Act concert lose?
$92,000. Then you take out the, you want to take out, when you factor in the sales tax, what the other businesses around did. It didn't
It
make
would
money.
come back that sum.
But in any kind of business, a lot of us talked about that before. I've been in business myself a long time. And you take the year as a whole, you take the project as a whole, and you do the math on it at the end of the year. That's the way county government works too. Showplace for me in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, it took 11 years for Showplace Arena in Memphis to actually show a profit, or they're supposed to show a profit.
Showplace Arena in Memphis was built with private money.
Yeah.
Bobby Pigeon built that out of his pocket. He owned Coca-Cola.
But it still
He
took-
operated it for all those years, got it paid for, and gave it to the county. Before that came.
But it's taken a long time for it to get the positive, you know. But my point is, I've been this 37 years myself. You don't take something like this and come out of the hole with it making money the first year. But it's gonna take a little bit of time, a little bit of structure, as Brad said. You know, we've got a lot of things to put together, a lot of things that we don't have that we need, and we figured that out. That's the reason we moved doing the ball fields and other things. But this is, and you don't know how many county mayors has called, and the guys actually wanting the architect's name down that did this one, Dixon County Mayor, and they're wanting to do something. We have a premier building in Tennessee, not just McNick County, but Tennessee. But the point is, everybody wants to do something like this for their county, so they'll have something big to do in the county.
I'd like to make a comment if I may. Of course, I'm on the commission, been on it since 2018. I've seen a lot of good things and a lot of bad. And this here, I'd like to see take off and people be lined up, waiting in line to get in here. And under one former director, I know some people didn't see eye to eye with her, but on the Fried Pie Festival, you look back and see how much money she brought in for it. And now I know I'll probably step on a few high toes here when I say this, but I think she ought to be reinstated because she had 25 events lined up for last year, and once she got out, there was only about 4 or 5 that said they would show up. I mean, we're McNairy County, we all got to work together, whether you like it or not, and I think she ought to be reinstated. Very much.
Well, there's one thing for sure, positions gotta be filled by somebody.
Yes, sir, it sure does. And like I said, if one I'm talking about gets reinstated, everybody needs to put their differences together and learn how to work together. Just cause 2 people are fighting, it's burning the whole McNairy County down. People can shake their heads, rub their face, whatever. But I'm just telling it like it is.
First of all, Brad, thank you for explaining kind of what my position on dissolving the other committee, I guess. But first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for putting all this stuff on, helping. Guys, if it wasn't for y'all, wouldn't none of us be here. Thank you, man. Thank you. Bringing activity to McNairy County. Thank you. Ryan Harts, thank y'all. Y'all been in the community and very involved for what? I know all the money you making from it. Right. But seriously, guys, it's what's in us, right? Want to serve and want to help our neighbors in the community. Thank y'all. All right. And my position was, and is, Brad, we are elected. We've got over $6 million sitting here in this building, okay? It's not private funds. No, that's not whose funds we're over. Mine wouldn't buy a BB heart. But it's y'all. It's y'all's money, right? Who answers to y'all? We do. You elected us. You elected us to be good stewards of your money. And I feel like I've got an obligation when y'all come to me and ask me what's going on with a $6 million building up there, and I can't give you an answer. Because we wasn't involved in any of it from the get-go, other than the idea, and yes, let's build it. Hey, that's a great idea. Everybody's on board. We didn't have, no, wait a minute, Larry. We wasn't involved in it until we started this committee right here. And the only say-so we had, except for what you come back and told us that this committee had put in, or wanted to do. That's right, and we didn't have any, we didn't have no say, really. So, here's what, that was the reason. And I think I got a unanimous vote on that, by the way, on who's gonna be held responsible, guys. You're elected officials, right? It's me. I owe you an explanation when you come to me, ask where your money's going. Wheel tax. If I can't tell you where the money's going, I'm not gonna vote for a wheel tax. You got a right to know. I'd wanna know. Y'all wanna know. So I want to be involved. I didn't care if I didn't know who was gonna be on it. He chose the committee. I recommend it. Okay? So, the elephant in the room is, here we are, a year down the road, not really completed, the building is completed. We can have a building, we can have a $100 million building that has everything that we need under the sun for car shows, for rodeos, for horses, for whatever. That's not gonna do us no good, guys. That's not gonna do us 1 ounce of good. If it's a building, if everything's sitting there, who's running it? Who have we got to run it? Y'all see this? From now until May, okay? We've got 6 events lined up. 6 events. I guess so, without a director, I guess it is. Well, one of those is already scheduled. Thank you, Whit, for scheduling a year out. 6 events. How much money is that gonna bring in? Hopefully rent or a concession. Let's see, we got, here it is, Big Bang softball. I don't know, what was the county, what are we getting off that? Rent? Rent concession. UT Extension Sprayer Clinic. This is February 19th. How much, what are we getting on that? Ain't getting anything else. So that's 5 events we're down to maybe get some money. All right, so McNair County News, the best of. How much money we getting out of that?
Last year we got about $3,600.
All right, so rent, maybe concession, some of that.
Won't be concession, we got to pay it.
Okay, so rent. So now we're to April. And it's costing us how much a year? $331,000 a year. I don't think these events, that's not a good timeline. How many we had apply for the job? Who's better qualified than the last director that brought in? How much money was it, the Pride Pie Festival? The only festival when the building wasn't even finished yet, didn't have sprinklers and all that stuff. It wasn't the code. Couldn't have no events hardly. You had to come up with something in thin air to be able to hold an event. Who would have thought of a Fried Pie Festival that, oh, by the way, made $70-something thousand? How much was it? I'm sorry, I may be wrong. How much was it? All right, so 50,000, we was plus $50,000. And the same director before that, before the Trace Atkins event, I think it was in August, I've got an email or a text, I believe, that said the Trace Atkins in August was gonna lose about $90,000. I think that director missed that in November by about $2,000. But because somebody don't get along, we're sitting here in this right here. After 4 people on this committee asked you not to do that. I don't like it, because I got to answer these people right here where their $331,000 tax money's going every year, and how we gonna recoup it. Just don't agree with it. But thank y'all for everything, y'all. Hey guys, we're still trying, no matter what. We're still trying. It's still our responsibility to make this go. Whatever the case, it's still on us to make this go. And I promise you, we're gonna try every step of the way to give it our best effort. We can fight, me and Larry fight like cats and dogs on this. Next thing, hey, we may be best buddies and everything else for the next, whatever comes up next. But that's just the way it is. I mean, we ain't gonna agree on everything, right? It ain't none of us. I mean, it's none of us. And I don't care if any of y'all sitting on here. But I'm doing what I feel like's best for my people, and so are they. Okay? And hopefully in the middle, we're gonna come together somewhere and make this thing work. McNair County guys, I love it. I love this building. I wish we'd had it 30 years ago and had all this stuff worked out. But we still gotta do what's best for the county, right?
But you need direction from people that know.
That's right, that's right. And we have, I mean, yes,
Well,
by all means, you're absolutely
I
right.
think the whole point everybody's talking about, an advisory board, whatever you want
That's
to
right.
call it.
That's right.
Is some horse people, some cow
That's
people,
right.
some car people, some whatever.
That's right.
Advising this committee or the director or whoever.
Right.
Y'all make the ultimate decision. But do you know about rodeo?
I ain't got a clue
You know
about
what I
rodeo.
mean? That's
right.
my point.
That's right.
Horses and cows.
I like going to them, I'm gonna come Friday night.
Right, no, but that's the point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this suggestion, and I'm gonna put it in the form of a motion. I feel that what we need, we have different groups of people of what do we need to buy. Everybody wants us, we need this, we need that. And that's very true. But I think what we need is a group of people that meet on a regular basis. It would be charity work, so it's gonna be local people, close. That when you host an event in this facility, you gain a seat on that committee. That committee then would have one person from the rodeo, one person for every event. That committee's job is to figure out how, and Larry, Keith may be mad at you about this, and Valerie, I know you're not with us anymore, but I'm not mad at you about this.
That don't
I think
have
this
nothing
is
to do
great.
with
I think this is great. It's
Wait.
just not enough.
Brad, I had 20 events booked for this year.
Okay.
20 events. That, all it has to do with me on that is the rodeo that we had, softball, and I had talked to UT about the sprayer, but we had not had a date yet. And we work with UT to do things affordably for them. Those other things don't have anything to do with me. All of the events that I had booked, they canceled when I left.
Okay.
And Ricky Young, Guy, Witt, Ryan Hartz. When I started, did I not come to you and ask you if you wanted to be on an Ag and Equine Commission to advise me in what we needed for this building and all facets of Ag and Equine related events?
I think what we should do is recant.
It didn't have the
some of
support.
committee that we had.
There's nothing wrong with that,
Just-
because they're involved with the
Well, the
event.
guys know more about what the intent of the building was. They know exactly what we were planning to do. They know everything that needs to be done. I think that the committee we had, it involved schools, superintendent of schools was on it, and everyone else, so.
We need a subcommittee, and I started making it into a motion. Create the motion would be to create a subcommittee.
I think we'll put the one we had back in place, because, again, they've been involved with all of it, they're very well aware with it. I don't disagree with you. I thought that the entire time, the entire way through.
This subcommittee would meet monthly for the creation of needs lists for the building, matching up our grants, things of that nature, and functions for this facility to do. They would meet monthly. I spoke with the chairman of that committee, would report to this committee monthly, which would also entail the fulfillment of the director position and the mayor.
There's no telling how many hours I spent in Keith
Make this a
Reinhardt's
motion.
shop.
That is a motion.
So we have a motion on the table to create an advisory committee to,
Subcommittee.
a subcommittee to, arena subcommittee to include members of, how do you want to place that, of users of the building?
I'll make it simple.
Let's just
Let's just do the sub.
let's just do get the names of a committee or think about whatever we got and bring it back to the next committee.
That might be a better thing to do.
Well, the committee's gonna be formed by you, you're our chair. Yeah. So you're gonna get the name, now we can.
We'll have to have a structure.
Yeah.
It'll be a subcommittee of this committee. Recommendations be brought to this committee. So you have to have the structure, you have to have who. And that'll be something we can vote on next time.
Just have vested
Let-
stakeholders.
I strike the motion for right now. I've got to think about how to word it.
Yes,
I think the subcommittee's a good idea. I think there was a lot of good information given out here today from different people that y'all do need horse people for a horse event or cattle people. I hope y'all are at the meetings with them because there's two sides to the fence. They can tell you how many stalls they need. If it's not covered by the grant, they need your advice as far as what it's gonna cost, and they may decide they need to do something different. So both people need to be at the table all the time to discuss how things are going, because they've discussed a lot of information that I hadn't thought about, I wouldn't have thought about out here. But it comes down to spending money and what's gonna happen in the county. Y'all have the information that they need, so it needs to be I think, an exchange back and forth at the meetings. to
I'll
see
be
what's
at those
happening.
meetings and I know everything's in the grant,
But does anybody else know what's in the grant besides you? Do these committee members that are in charge of overseeing this facility, do they have access to all those numbers? Do they know what those totals are and what's available and what's for what and all that? I'm just thinking that not everybody knows what everybody needs to know.
Well, they've been
I mean,
given that- those
there
numbers have
seems
been
to be
given.
a little bit of control of dispersing information that they need to make decisions and come to things. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just getting involved, but I'm
They've been
seeing
given
some
those
things
numbers, that's all I'm
that
saying.
disturb me.
we've had, what the grants have been applied for and amounts, things. It just-
Now, what was the match on the grant?
Right now, and I was gonna get to that in a minute, the panels were $342,000. Instead of them doing the match, or a match on the grant, they went in and paid the panels at 100%. And they're gonna pay the ice skating panels at 100%. And they're gonna pay everything that we ordered right now at 100% until we get the amount extended of the match. And then it'll be a 50-50 match from there on.
So you're talking about the 400,000
Yeah,
that they extended?
they wanted to make, I'm talking about the whole grant, they wanted to make it simpler, so they're gonna pay everything at 100% until the match is finished. And then after that, you get 50-50 match. Yeah, 340, I mean, they paid the panels at 342, they can inject that. The ice panels are the same, the question that we're in. So those will be paid back and then how much is left. In other words, they use property value. Remember I gave y'all all that, they use property value and they use some of what the county highway department and some of what.
Can you email us that structure of how that grant's supposed to be matched?
If you have guys, I know you.
Well, I ain't heard nothing about the restructure.
They get the contract back.
That's the difference. That's all they are. That's, we've had that contract for years, and we've got 3 years to spend on one. 3 years. So we don't spend that on.
Can I speak this minute? On the panel, this is the reason I think prime example, we need the subcommittee, 300 and whatever thousand for the panels. I guarantee you take me, Riggy, West Ash, a subcommittee, I don't even care if I'm on the committee, but I'm saying these guys, and we can cut that in half because that's panels that we don't need. There's a whole lot of that, and I understand that's what we turn in for the bid to get the prices, but we don't need stuff we don't need. We need what's actually.
$342,000 is for the hard surface panels. The plastic panels that go on the floor. The hard surface panels that put down on the dirt cover, yeah, that's the 342. The pins for the arena was 156,000 was the budget estimate for the pins for the arena, like for the beef factory sale coming up. But we're not buying those right now. He's gonna rent those, but we'll bring them, set them up, kinda like what we did.
And even at 150,000, I think if you take that committee, you buy what you need and not what we don't, because those, like me, I go to rodeo every weekend. And another thing on our rodeo, to make sure this is out there clear, our rodeo is a junior rodeo. It is completely non-profit. We make no money. It costs us money to operate. We rented the building last year for the building cost. Y'all got the concessions. Anything that was made, and that was one thing that was talked about with Switch Rodeo, there was people sneaking in. I said, I don't care if people sneak in, because whatever gate money we take in, it goes back to the kids. It's not like we got to beat them down for it. Everything we done was for the kids, rent the arena for that price. We did not try to do it to make any money. It was just a betterment of the kids. The reason we use this facility is because I'm in McNair County. No other reason. With taking that out of it, without me and Justin putting in the legwork to have it here, it would not be here. It don't matter if somebody goes to them, runs them down over it, it won't be here. That's because we put in the work. It's a junior rodeo, it's free. Everybody ain't standing out there to do the work for it. May not make any money. I hope that it paid the bills for that day when it gonna sit here with nothing in it. So, you know, with that being said, I do think that you have to have a subcommittee to advise y'all, because again, you are the ones that's got to answer to because they're not going to come run me down because they know I ain't got no money and I ain't over nobody else. But they are going to run y'all down because you're over everybody else's.
I don't know anything about a rodeo, and that's why I reached out to you and your dad.
That's right. I mean, we have sat in there and talked, and that was the same thing I said when we started. I don't know anything about running the building. I know that just like this weekend, I don't care to go talk to people and ask them, hey, what are you doing? It's working. I'm the same way about rodeo. And when I see somebody that does something I'm not doing, I don't care to ask them. That's the only way you learn to get better. And so I think that there definitely needs to be people from, you know, every different areas, anybody that could be interested in the building to be, and I know you can't get too many, but those different areas to have input into which direction we need to go and make sure we're spending the exact dollar for what we got to have. Not just to shoot it out there with a big lump sum of, you know, stuff we don't need. So that I definitely, my 100% opinion is that it needs a subcommittee to answer to y'all and just like I said, the directors.
So we can say you volunteer for a subcommittee.
I think that's what I heard.
I don't want to be on it, but I want this thing to go, and I want McNair County's building to be as good as it is anywhere.
And what about Ricky?
We have a great
Are you
building.
willing to do that too,
Yeah,
Ricky?
but everybody has a great building. The one we went to this weekend, 18 years older, but I'm telling you, it's a great building. But they have everything that goes with it, and they have the direction they're going in, and that's the direction they're working.
It's kind of like Larry was saying earlier, guys. This building, if we break even, we're making money. I mean, if this building breaks even, I promise you the county's making money. Because you look at the restaurants, how full they are. The gas stations, how much gas they sell. It's sales tax, generating, it's what we're doing. But we gotta have events. We gotta have attendance. We gotta draw people from Corinth, from Alabama, from all the southeast. We gotta draw those people in to make this building successful. So yes, and horses, I would have never thought it, but horses, that's one huge revenue stream. It's just like travel ball or whatever. I mean, you really don't know it till you get into it and experience it. But
It's worth it.
I wish my kids played travel ball.
There's a lot of interest throughout the country, and a lot of stuff happening in the southeast, and the 45, 64 thoroughfares is I mean, we're setting prime, you know, but we got to get there, and hopefully we're going to get there, guys. I mean, you know, all of our grants hadn't come in. We really ain't got the building completed yet, so we're trying to get everything out there. But again, keep in mind, if it says the building's losing money, like I said, our hope is just to at least break even. But again, if we lose 50,000 here at the building, at this building, the arena, and we make up 75,000 in sales tax revenue because of that 50,000 we lost, well, we netted 25,000 for the county. And then we've got interest in hotels coming. Got interest in Restaurants coming, chain restaurant coming. There's been talk about it already. I mean, we're in communication with all that happening so far because of this building. And that's no lie. I mean, because of you know, what can happen here. You know, and the crowds it can draw. And yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, you stood up a
That's
long
okay,
time.
I just wanted to say that I have supported this ag center because of the potential that it has to bring in revenue. And if you can fill that calendar up, you can bring in the revenue, so you don't have to worry about everybody jumping on your backs about taxes having to be raised or adding to the wheel tax or anything like that. But you do have to have a coordinated system. Do you have a sales rep that's going out there and talking to the public to find out what they want to see happening in here? The horse events, I mean, I come from California. Equestrian is huge in California, and I had a friend that was a photographer. I spent a lot of time there. Dog shows, cat shows, you know, FFA, all those things could be using the building. You have a lot of potential, but you need a rep to go out there and find them and talk to them and find out what do we need to do to get them to rent the building.
That's why I
You
said this
can't put
building
that
needs to be
responsibility on the director, because if you fill that calendar up, your director's gonna be busy just trying to keep everything coordinated and getting everything ordered and making sure it's here and the staff is here and all that stuff. I don't know your director, but I know watching what was happening here, and when you guys brought in that Atkins concert, I mean, I almost fell out of my chair in my office, because I thought, if you guys can pull this off, I am going to be extremely impressed. We bit off more than we could chew. But it had tons of potential. But I told her when I was at one of the meetings, if she could pull it off, it would be a feather in our cap. I think you should bring her back. She was doing everything she could, but you need a sales rep that's talking to her to tell her what she needs to get those people to sign that contract, and then allow her to do her job to get it organized and pulled off and make the people of this county proud. This building does have potential. It's not like the big cities, but it still does have potential to hire a lot of people to come here to use it. Tons of things. I mean, you can use it for weddings even if you had to, but I mean, something to fill that calendar up to bring in the revenue. And you gotta get the restaurants here. You said you're bringing them in, because I thought, I've literally been in the city and had people here that were here visiting. And what was their problem? They couldn't find a place to eat because it was the weekend and they were closed. And your options are fast food or the Mexican food restaurants.
Well, we got Joe's a pretty good place.
Well, it depends on what days he's
They're
open.
open on
But Joe's got great
Saturday.
catfish and their beans. I love
Businesses
them.
in town that are not open on the weekend.
Yeah. Restaurants open on the weekend is something that you need. And I'm not big on chain restaurants. I like the mom and pop ones better, but
About this week's an actual cheer flood toward the use of the building. That would be awesome too.
That would be awesome.
who are the chain restaurants? If you say there's some chain restaurants, who are they?
He just mentioned the word chain restaurant, the guy that wanted to do the half and end, mentioned, and I'm not gonna say what he said, but he did mention a couple of names of chain restaurants.
Not
You should
fast
bounce
food.
them off the community
Not
and
fast,
find
yes,
out
not
if they
fast.
want them.
He builds Hampton Inns, and also he's in a few different name chain restaurants.
And when I was in California, I was a community volunteer for over 19 years, so I met a lot of the developers and things when I worked out there with the planning commissions and stuff. But you need to bounce that information. If you're talking to somebody, you need to ask the community, do they want that? If they don't want it, don't waste our time. Move on to something else that they do want. This community's got tons of input. Talk to them. You've got several community list sites that's all they do is talk about what's going on in McNairy County. Get on there and talk.
Thank you.
I don't see how a chain restaurant is going to come in when you don't have the infrastructure to get the events to come in first. When
right.
you have the infrastructure to get the events, to book the arena, and you can put hard numbers in front of them, we've got this many people coming into town, and they're going to come in on Thursday night, and they're going to stay till Sunday night, or maybe leave Monday, then you've got hard figures, numbers, where they might come in, but they're not going to on a promise. And we got a beautiful building sitting right here that we can't do nothing with because we don't have the infrastructure to support it. And you got to have a perfect example. You've got the arena at Tunic. I put on horse shows there for years. The county government got to fighting over there, and it went to heck, and it growed up, and it is a ghost town now because they were fighting amongst the politics of it. You better forget your politics. You better get on board what's good for the county, what will bring revenue into the county, what can help our 4-H kids, what can help our high school kids, what can help our FAA. I mean, there's endless possibilities here, but talking in circles and arguing ain't gonna get nothing done.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna try this again after I spent a little time brainstorming. And I'm the secretary, so I've already got it wrote down. I move to create an advisory subcommittee made up of 8 stakeholders of the Ag Event Center events to be named by the Chairman McCullough to meet within the next month to determine the needed priorities and avenues of additional revenue for the Ag Event Center. The advisory subcommittee will report to this committee, the Ag Event Center Committee, the Park and Rec Director, if in place by that time, and the county mayor.
And that's in form of a motion.
That's the form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. Do I have a second?
Who seconded?
Yeah.
Now, what's the stakeholder, Brad, when you talking about the stakeholder?
See, I left that just vague enough and specific enough that David's got to figure it out.
Me?
Yeah, you're the
You
chairman.
can be in on this too.
Well, I would say a stakeholder would be someone directly involved in events. I mean, and that's in my mind, that's the definition of stakeholder. I don't need to be on the committee because I'm not renting the building, hosting an event. It is. I just volunteered with. You know, that's what I would say a stakeholder would be, for clarity.
Or Reinhardt.
Or the Reinhardt, yeah.
Or Ricky Young.
Yes.
I don't know if got any people in car shows and other things.
Well, there is someone here that can put you in direct conversation with them. If you'll just talk to her, lady right over there.
Sounds like she's got other ideas. Maybe she ought to be able to. Oh. Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
You got any discussion?
Okay, discussion. Me put your
From?
Yeah.
the
Oh,
audience.
yes.
Don't forget Wes Ashley's building there, he is the cowman around, regular cowman around.
You talking about stakeholders. When Valerie was up here, she's my daughter and I'm gonna stand by her side. I've probably got, before she left, at least $10,000 in equipment, labor, and everything up here. So that's pretty good stakeholder.
I would say so.
Now, I'm gonna say this. You can have 10 subcommittees. You can have anybody you want to. As long as you let one man do everything. You pick, from picking the color of the toilet paper to what they serve in the concession stand, and nobody gets along with him and nobody does what he says and he gets mad, then it ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Guys, I've been in business my whole life. I was in business before I got out of high school. I do not run my operation. A young man right there runs it and 2 more. I don't care if they go in tomorrow and fire the whole crew as long as they figure out how they're gonna make it work at the end of the day. And that's what your bosses do, and that's what you have to let them do. So y'all go ahead and form your subcommittee, and I think it's the best idea you've ever had. But if the subcommittee don't have any authority, they're wasting their time coming up here. Just like you guys are. If you don't have any authority, if one person's gonna run it all, then you need to let that person run it, and you don't need nobody. You're gonna have to have a director that has say over what goes on out here, and that director's gonna have to answer to a committee. I stayed in county government for 22 years. I know exactly how county government works. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I didn't know none of this was going on. I showed up here tonight, not knowing what was on the agenda, nothing else. By the way, for ones that don't know me, I'm Danny Montgomery. I served on the county commission years ago for 12 years. And I've been involved in a few festivals, anywhere from Denmark to Germany, all over the United States, in barbecue. I don't know nothing about horses. I know when they kick you, it hurts. I don't know nothing about riding bulls. I do know a little bit about festivals, all the way from the World Championships, Houston Livestock Rodeo Show. That barbecue organization there, the rodeo all together, it blow your mind if you know how many volunteers puts that on.
I'm saying that, I don't care what's going on, if they're gonna have a dog show up here, somebody's going to have to volunteer to come up here and work. That committee right there can't do it all. And this subcommittee told me can't do it all, but they gotta help. We've had a couple of barbecues here in the county. We had one, be 3 years coming up this summer. We had people from 8 states. We had 81 teams here in the state cook-off that weekend. It was the largest SCA, the State Cook-Off Association, contest in the United States that year other than the World Championship. Why? Because we had some volunteers, we had people working it. We had people working in other areas, other states working it. We had one here last fall, just a spur of a moment. It turned out pretty good. But it's because people worked and pulled it off. Larry, you can't do it, and I can't do it. Brad, you can't do it. Jimmy can't do it. Y'all gotta have help. I know, I've been there. I've done that. But you're gonna catch all the slack for it. If this thing's sitting there costing $330,000 a year, who they gonna fuss at? They're gonna fuss at Larry, they're gonna fuss at all you commissioners. I hear it every day. It's coffee shop. I'm just glad I ain't sitting up there no more and have to listen to all that mess. Be blamed for it. But the truth is, we gotta have a director. And I'm gonna say they've been hired up several counties in Texas. We had it good, and I don't know what the problem was with the flame farter. But I didn't know how it was all set up, but I do know this. If we're gonna have a director, and you've got a whole committee sitting right there that's helping do this thing, that committee needs to be involved in the hire and fire. Maybe the state law don't allow it, but there ain't nothing that says you can't do it, I don't believe. Whoever you hire next time, and I've got no problem with telling Larry to his face, he don't need to be one that says it's all on me. That way when they don't like it, something comes up, he don't have to take all the blame. If I was in his position, I'd want you guys helping hard. So they come to him and, hey, we don't like what's going on up there. If he ain't done his job, well, he ain't got to take all the heat. He got a committee stand with it. If you won't take the heat, just, you can do that. But I'm telling y'all, I said all that to say this. This community is going to have to work together. This thing right here, we got it. We got to pay for it, and we got to live with it. We got to put our differences aside and work together. You say, well, that can't be done. It can be done. Yeah, McNair County's got its issues. People's going to spread the bad stuff. But I guarantee you, you get out here and you get to work and you get to looking, there's a whole lot more good people in this county than there is bad ones. There's a whole lot more people who want to see this thing go than there is that don't want to see it go. And people ahead, you're on the right road with these subcommittees. But listen to them when they make suggestions. You got the purse strings, you can tell them what the limits is, but y'all listen to them. I'm talking to myself. I have to be told every once in a while, hey, you ain't doing the right thing. I don't like it. But usually they say that it's the truth. And Larry, you're our leader as a county mayor. You need to listen to some of this committee, you need to listen to some of this other, and let them help you make decisions. You won't be the only one getting cussed all over the county.
Yeah, unfortunately, that goes with it.
Well, no, you don't have to. I ain't gonna say no more. I've said my piece.
Any more debate or discussion?
You was talking about 8 members, Brad?
I just throw the number of 8. I didn't want 18, I didn't want 2, I just picked, I don't know where that number come from, I just thought, I was thinking about different venues, and about 8 different things we might do.
You got one right here, if you want to say something?
My name is Colton White. I go to high school down here, and I've been rodeoing for quite a while. And I've talked to people down there at the high school, and I've went and I've talked to Dr. Pyron and a bunch of other people. I've never been to one of these meetings before. Real scared right now, okay? But like with stuff like what Mr. Witt was talking about with the lean-to and stuff like that, I broke bulls, and I've never roped or anything. I broke bulls and broncs, but so that really ain't got nothing to do with me. But I know that talking to other people, you can't really have rodeos or anything like that during the summer or any practice grounds or anything like that if you ain't got nowhere to cool down after. Because I know in here, I mean, we've got 10 yards on the left side, 10 yards on the right side to fit 40 rough stock dudes in there. And I mean, they're not very clean. We throw stuff around a lot. You're all on top of each other, and you step outside and there's nothing. I mean, and there's just gravel everywhere. But with your horse, I mean, it's got to stay cool, and you can't, I mean, just taking out there on that gravel, it really ain't doing you no good. Like there's an arena just like this one in Coleman, Alabama, and it looks just like this. I mean, it looks perfect just like this. But you go out there and there's a big lean-to out there, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I went down there not that long ago, and I asked, because I know that there's been a bunch of problems up here with all this. I asked them how much that really helped, and they said that before they did that, they didn't have really any luck at all with getting a bunch of people in the rodeos. But they said whenever they had that lean-to and they had big fans putting their stalls and everything and all that, they could have rodeos during the summer too, because they only have rodeos during the winter before. But besides that, another thing I wanted to bring up was just being able to have what it would take to be able to have like practice events up here, because I know that for me, like it's hard for somebody to do rodeo around here because there really ain't nowhere to practice. But I got a bunch of buddies down there that told me to ask, how would we be able to have, like, be able to put on a practice event? Now I don't know how much it costs to rent this thing for a day, but I know we can't. Me as a 17-year-old, I can't afford that.
You might get with Mitch and Keith, they've had different practice times up here and all, and if the building's not being used, we don't mind, I don't know. These guys don't mind, they're sitting there anyway, getting their permission, but when nobody minds to use it, it won't be much cleanup, and they usually kind of clean up behind themselves,
Yes, sir.
More or less like the county, but
The way the building has wound up being, the only thing we can do to manipulate utility costs is how many lights we turn on and turn off.
Yes, sir.
Because we're having to heat and cool the building 12 months out of the year. So I mean,
One more thing I only got is, the only last thing I got was what I've been brought to, which I'm not in politics at all, so this is a view from outside of everything. But all I've ever heard about from the boys down there that are always wanting rodeo is about the advertisement up here. And y'all might have already talked about this a million times, but like advertising, I didn't even know there's going to be an IPR rodeo up here until I was scrolling on IPR online. I had no idea. I miss calling. I mean, that's the truth though. I mean, I miss calling just because I had no idea, and I drive past the school twice a day, every day. And I mean, I just didn't know what we could do different about being able to have some advertisement. I mean, IPRA, that's pro. I mean, that's pro rodeo. I mean, I ought to be able to know if I drive past this thing if there's gonna be a IPR rodeo.
billboard instead of quit being some artwork that we need to put it on the billboard, but that would be the quit instead of rodeo.
Okay, I didn't know if you could rent something in town or something, a billboard or something to help with this thing. I'm just throwing out ideas.
It's on the little billboard.
Okay, I miss it. I don't drive to that part of town.
They could make better use of the county webpage and post things on there.
yeah.
That's all I got, son. Thank you.
Plenty of places to get the stuff. People are looking for the
All right,
events.
we've got a motion on the floor, we have a second. All right.
We'll have a chairman. That makes your odd number. Chairmans don't vote unless there's a tie. They don't care.
So we got a motion on the floor, and a second. All in favor?
Read that one more time.
Oh, Lord. I move to create an advisory subcommittee made up of 8 stakeholders of the Ag Event Center events to be named by the chairman, David McCullough, to meet within the next month to determine the need and priorities and avenues of additional revenue for the Ag Event Center. The advisory subcommittee will report to the Ag Event Center Committee, this body. The county park and rec director.
How about everybody name the committee? The committee vote on the subcommittee member.
You can. I mean, if we're gonna play party, you got to amend. Second, debate, then go back to main.
Well, I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I mean, you're putting it all on David's shoulders.
It wouldn't be on mine, y'all be involved too. I wouldn't just do it
Well,
all on my own.
typically, the chairman names committees. That's just typically the way they go.
But they would be advisors for other individuals.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it all by
But if you want to amend it, now's the time to do it before we take a vote.
You want to amend the motion to add another line to it?
I'll amend it by saying, subcommittee made up, or
Strike David McCullough.
Whatever you-
Named by
Yeah.
this committee.
right.
All right, then the next one, see if that passes. Need a second.
Do I have a second on that motion? Amendment. Motion.
I would also recommend not putting a number in there because you're gonna limit yourself. You're gonna have different stakeholders out here. You may have 8 different types of events out here. You may have 4. So to say 8, I think you're limiting yourself.
And they'll want a voice. Others will want a voice on the board.
I'm out of order, but anyway,
I got one more.
the reason that you have a number, a committee and a motion has to have a number. The number is established because without it, a committee can be 1. A committee can be 10,000. There's a joke about a committee and a horse. God designed a horse, and a committee designed to make a camel.
Well, how about a minimum of?
A minimum of, that would work. You want it?
Well, that'd be.
Ultimately what we're doing.
Be doing that.
Need a list of names.
That'd be what, we'll have an option of that.
All right, you got a motion, strike the word chairman,
Right.
and add committee.
Do I have a second? Had to get a second. Yeah, you got a second, Jimmy.
So does the committee, you're saying a stakeholder, that's somebody that has to be having an event here?
It would be more like, I'd say it's more like an advisory committee,
Like what we had before.
I don't think they necessarily, I have an event here, but mine's not trying to make.
Yeah, it don't need to be,
So I'm
say,
giving
stakeholder.
advice.
Well,
I don't think.
in my mind, what I
Get
like,
into- get
what
into
I
all
see
kind
it
of-
being is, if we
Get into all
got a
kind of
grant to
junk.
buy, say we got the grant to build another horse barn, buy stalls, build the building, to make sure, like you said before, that we're buying the right things, not buying the wrong things, buying too many or not enough, to make sure that with this, so this grant money is a one-time grant for now. We need to make sure we spend it on the right things and the right amounts. And like you folks that do this, go these places, like Ricky and see things, you see things that we don't see. Say,
Was that what you were saying about
At
the
this point,
stakeholder?
there's no booking, so you don't have anybody to draw from, just like, my number 1 pick for the county would be Wes Ash, because Wes is livestock, same as me, rodeo, he showed cows, he was on the first committee. At this point, Wes can't have a cow show here, so if you're saying it has to be somebody with an event booked, you can't, Wes is out, and Wes is my number 1 vote for McNair County to be on
Well,
the
with the word stakeholder, you'd have to define stakeholder. What does that entail? What defines stakeholder? It's just, it creates a lot of unnecessary stuff. We can just say an advisory board, or advisory committee or whatever.
And I will say, Wes is interested, he's not here tonight for the 12-year-old league, so he was gonna try to make it.
All right, we got a lot of great ideas.
do you want to strike it, start over?
No, because you gotta start somewhere to get it. All right, first, well, let's go back to Keith. Keith has a motion to amend, and a second on the floor, strike the word chairman, and be named by the Ag Event Center Committee. Let's do something with that before we do anything else.
All right, we have all in favor of the amendment to the original motion, say aye. Anybody opposed? That passes. So we got amendment to the original.
We're back to the debate on, okay, the motion was read then. I move to create an advisory subcommittee made up of 8, we're still at 8 because nobody's changed that, of the Ag Event Center to be named by the Ag Event Center Committee to meet within a month to determine the needed priorities and avenues of additional revenue for the Ag Event Center. The advisory subcommittee will report to the Ag Event Center Committee, County Park and Rec Director, and County Mayor.
We're gonna do 8 or minimum of 8.
All right, you need to amend by adding
The word minimum.
minimum, yeah. So move.
that'd have been. Need a
No,
second?
no, we're on the main motion.
Okay, main motion. He's losing.
Jeff, who seconded?
Yes. I say
Keith. We're adding the word minimum of in front of 8.
Let me read you the names of who was on the previous committee that I remember.
Okay?
Wes Ash, Mitch Reinhardt, Jay Thompson, Mike Smith, Keith Reinhardt, Greg Martin, Ricky Matheny, and Rose Plant. Who'd I miss? Did you remember? That's the ones that was on the original committee, and there was others too that I don't remember right now. Those were the ones that were on there. That's kind of a big, Ricky Matheny was on there because of 4
that don't have nothing to do with this motion right now.
All right, that's the final motion.
All right, no, we're at this point, we are have seconded, we're at debate on adding the word minimum of in front of 8.
So, we need a second on that part.
Well, we got a second, just need a
Okay,
vote.
we got everybody say in favor, aye, add a minimum of 8 members to the original motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes. Now we're back to the original motion.
I move to create an advisory subcommittee made up of a minimum of 8 stakeholders of the Ag Event Center to be named by the Ag Event Center Committee to meet within the next month to determine the needed priorities and avenues for additional revenue for the Ag Event Center. The advisory subcommittee will report to the Ag Event Center Committee, County Park and Rec Director, and County Mayor. That's your motion, amended twice.
Now we're ready for a vote. All right, motion's been read. Any debate on the motion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes.
Now, Larry?
Yes, sir.
We'll go scratch it here. I'll go this way. You, as a non-voting member of this committee, would like to make a strong encouragement to utilize the people that were served on the first.
I'm just saying, they did a good job and they're familiar with the building, they know what the purpose and on the onset was. And,
all right.
Yeah, I don't mind, I mean, like Keith said, take him off, bitches on there, like Ricky could come on, something like that, you know, I'm just saying that those guys all know what the purpose of the building was and know what.
Here's what you're gonna run into. We're meeting in a month. They've got a meeting the next month. I would say without a motion that we need to list who we want right now. That would be the next item of business. Service committee, because we formed a committee that has not been filled. So, do we want to nominate them as a slate, Larry? You want to give me the names first. Wes Ash, Mitch Reinhardt.
Jay. Mike.
Ricky Young.
Hold on, y'all. I can't write that fast.
Greg Martin, director of schools. Ricky Matheny, his former 4-H, he was 4-H agent at the time we started.
Greg Martin, would you swap that over to James?
That'll be fine. Shane serves also. Greg couldn't be there most of the time. Yep.
Spell it.
That's right.
Mitch's last ag
Brian Wood.
Yeah, ag teacher.
No, that's the Ford County agent.
Okay.
All right.
The new.
No. That's the CTE director.
Yeah.
Hey.
Shane Stoltz.
Yes.
Oh, Shane was on there.
I thought you were replacing Martin with Stoltz.
Yes. What he said.
We got the new person up there at the extension office.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about, Shane.
John Williams.
Oh.
The new extension
Would you want the ag agent or would you want the extension agent? One, their actual extension manager, so, sir.
detention agent when y'all were ready to approve for that reason, and, so.
How about asking the taxpayers if they've got any names they want to put on the list?
I think the man that's sitting in the county, not leaving.
Yeah. John or Jane? John's ag, Jane's over everybody in the county. Well, she's our
Let's-
county agent.
Let's take recommend, I'm not for voting for
Slate.
a slate, I'm not
Let's get a
voting
list of
for them
names.
right now.
These people's availability stuff.
Yeah, we need
Well, that's what I'm
to see
saying.
who's interested.
Willing to serve again.
And it don't need to be all ag related on it. I mean, you talking, I mean, we got, travel ball people, travel basketball, whatever. I mean, there's other things other than just ag related that can be good events for Bill. Car shows, stuff like that, that's not ag related, but, I mean, let's don't jump to just don't jump through the hoops and think we gotta name all of them tonight and vote on it and all that stuff. Let's take recommendations and.
Whether you would need to table.
That is a good start.
What you may want to do then, the motion as it is, they've got to meet in the next month.
Okay. We got a commission meeting when, February the, whatever? We can meet before the commission meeting and.
Everything will give them like a week or 10 days.
Well,
What I'm getting at, we can table this motion and it stops. And we can spend a month figuring out who we want to be on this motion, on this subcommittee. But the problem you're running into, that's a month that they haven't met.
That's a waste of time.
That's a month wasted.
Well, I can tell you now, I'm not voting for nobody right now,
Okay.
or a slate of people. I'm just not.
Okay.
Y'all can, I'm not.
All right.
So
To get what you want.
Decide, you contact these people, you contact these people, you contact these people, and see if they're willing to serve.
I mean, that, like you said, that's a great start, and I'm not against nobody, but I just want to make sure, make sure we going down the right road and everybody has a little input, and I promise you, there's other things that we hadn't thought of out there that somebody may approach us and say, hey,
All right, let's do this. You got to table the motion. No, you can't table.
there was no time limit on the committee. I mean, we voted to form a committee.
About when the committee's.
We're in the process now.
Process is picking the committee.
But it did say meeting next month.
Said just
Let's
said-
do that. Terry, you said,
That'll have to be taken
just make a motion to create the committee, and that fixes the whole problem. All right.
Within the next month, create a committee within the next month.
While you've got a table, why don't you use the website and the community list sites and the newspaper to put it out there and say you got 5 days to respond if you know anybody or you're interested in being on it.
Just a minimum 14 day minimum.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say they want to do it in a month. I'm thinking, okay, you got to give them a time to respond and then a time.
Public advertising. So
Who
they
is
go to
writing
the
the charter for the subcommittee? Are you guys doing it?
You don't have a charter for something, you have a direction.
How do they know what they're doing? If you don't have a
It
charter,
goes
tell
back
them
to-
what their responsibilities are.
It goes back to their two responsibilities. Prioritize needs for the facility. Number 2, to determine avenues for additional revenue for the Ag Event Center. So right now, they have two charges, 2 goals to commit themselves to.
That's it? What do you need a subcommittee for that for? You had a director out here who was doing a lot of that stuff. You have somebody out here doing marketing.
Right.
I mean, you guys aren't even talking about the important things, like every time you change the floor out here, who's paying for that? The mold that's on the floor, the arena floor, how are we fixing that? Who's responsible for that now?
Well, I totally agree. I totally agree.
The director.
But if you,
The mold, and we've talked about that, maybe not in the meeting when you're here, when we build the lean-to we're talking about back there, and some of y'all probably remember talking about it, there's like a heater, for lack of a better term, that will go up above that door, be on the right side back there, that will basically blow air in. we had no moisture problem until we took the floor up again. But the humidity's back now because we took the floor up. So it would blow in back there, and there would be an exhaust up here. But there'll be a unit up in that, kind of the roof, under the roof of that pavilion that would solve the humidity issue.
Okay, well, the mold I'm talking about is when we took up the floor.
I understand.
The black mold that was right
And you're
here.
gonna have that, and when you got dirt, you put plastic down, and you leave it down for a month, you're gonna have mold built on the dirt like that.
Now, how are we treating it? Are we just turning the dirt over, or are we putting a chemical of some sort on there to get rid of it?
They were supposed to put dry lime on it, that's what they were supposed to do. That's what they were supposed to do for it. And then, I assume they did, because they have it up to
All right, back to Terry. I think I heard you say, I move to appoint the committee at our next scheduled meeting, at our next scheduled Agament Center meeting. Is that what you said?
That's what he meant.
Within the next month, is that what we?
Casey may have figured out, this is our parliamentarian, one
No.
knows all the rules.
Is the next meeting scheduled yet, gentlemen? Will you be meeting to review the resumes for the director's position? Will you be involved in that as a committee?
As a
I
full
tell you what.
commission, it has to be approved.
I just wondered if the committee would be involved with that, or if it'll go directly through the mayor.
I promise you, if you'll hold that thought just a minute, let me get this thing put to bed, we'll do it sometime.
I'll hold the thought.
Yes, second?
What we get on that?
Yes.
We have a motion on
To appoint the
the
subcommittee.
committee, the next scheduled meeting.
Within the next month.
Next month. Do I have a second? There's a motion. Second, yeah. Okay, any more discussion? Any more amendments? Changes? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Little about county government, and I don't know anything, and the county attorney's not here, so I'm just gonna shoot from the hip the best I know, or the best I understand.
You don't even have to answer the question. Just think on the question. But I'll say this, that the process that you have in place is apparently not working because you have had other people already in this position. Now, whatever. We won't go there. But it just seems to me like the process is not working. And that you guys need to figure out what the process needs to be so you can get somebody who will have some roots here and who will make this work, because it's gonna take someone who cares about this building make this work. Just like the people who are in this committee, meeting tonight, who are telling you what they would like to see and what they think that you need to do. You need to think about that before you put the next person that you're then going to make, let me just use the word miserable, into this job. Because that's what you guys are doing, and you're gonna assign the next person to it, and they're not gonna do like you expect that they should, and you're gonna be having this same meeting within a year, and you're gonna be talking about somebody else's life that you have changed because they didn't do the way that a person or a couple of people expected them to do. And I'm just saying, I hope I'm wrong, but you guys look at the history, because the history seems like it's repeating itself. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you very much.
Okay. keep in mind, we are the legislative body in the county. That's all we are, is legislative.
I'm well aware, I've been married to one of them for
Yes,
a
ma'am,
long
I
time.
know. Yes, ma'am, I know. And I'm gonna remove Valerie. You know, I think you done a wonderful job.
Thanks, Brad.
You and I had a lot of personal conversations over usually an issue that was a physical issue, and we talked personally about some other issues. We elect the county mayor. We elect the county sheriff. We elect the county trustee. We elect assessor of property. We as legislators have the ability, ultimately our only authority, and please correct me as a senior commissioner, we manipulate funds. That's what we do. This county, every 4 years, elects an executive financial officer who serves the county in the means of building budgets, administering the buildings, the maintenance of the buildings. He oversees different aspects that we as even commissioners don't even understand. I don't want anybody's life made miserable over this great venture we're in. In saying that, I do not feel that this legislative body, if Larry backed up, has the authority to hire and fire, in my personal understanding of the government, now, of this county. In saying that, though, and I've expressed it before to former directors of this structure, of the Ag Event Center, that we love you, we'll do everything we can to help you, but ultimately, your boss is the man, elected mayor.
So the committee that y'all just formed is a absolute 100% waste of time. Because we're going back to one man running a $6 million operation, and it's going to be his way or no way. And that's what you're going back to. And you're wrong about the hiring and firing. This body,
as a committee,
as the whole county commission, everybody works for the county commission with the exception of the school board. Am I right or wrong? Danny, you sat on it with me. Keith, you sat on it. And if you'll tell the truth, you sat on it too. And you know that's the truth, that the county commission runs this county with the exception of the schools.
Yeah.
That's the boss.
Power does a mayor have without the county commission to approve?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no state law that says the mayor is to be the chairman of the committee, sit down there.
That's exactly right.
There's no state law that says that.
Actually, I researched the law, and y'all can pick somebody out of the audience to be your chairman if you want.
Actually, he is not the chairman right now.
When I said what I said, well, go to Larry.
You're not the chairman of the county commission.
I believe I would too. I don't believe I won't take the whole.
Well, I don't know that my input is wanted, but I am gonna give it anyway. You're gonna hire for a job. I suggest that you know what that job needs to entail, and that job description reflect that appropriately. When I was hired and the county commission looked over my resume and the job description, I then provided to you over a page and a half of responsibilities that this job actually does, that were never mentioned, that no one knew anything about. In military intelligence, there's a thing called the unknown unknowns. Things that you have to be humble enough to know that you don't know. And you have people come in and they give you information because they've had a different path in life, and they can give you information that you didn't know. I'd like to know, Brad, Mayor, do you know where you are in the cycle of season event scheduling? Do you know what's considered a good attendance percentage for an event to be considered successful? Because it's not 100%. Do you know those things?
No, that's outside of my realm of knowledge.
Right. You don't know those things. So being upset when someone tells you those things or tells you that things that aren't going to make money, it's not coming from a place of negativity, it's coming from a place of accuracy in order to set you up for success. And that's all that I was ever trying to do here. So I hope that whoever gets the honor of doing this, that you have a little bit more respect for what they're bringing to the table, and that you give them a job description that actually reflects what the job is. Because I told you at the first commission meeting, I said these types of venues typically have teams of people covering marketing, sponsorships, VIP, guest services, box office, ticketing, events, facilities, maintenance. I'm telling you, teams of people work under those subcategories. Now, I know enough about it to get us up and going and doing a little for all of those buckets. But you also hired me to do 10 buckets worth of work by myself. You started out exactly where you are right now, with nothing on your schedule, not knowing where you were in the cycle, and not being able to schedule anything up until I pulled something out of thin air, is exactly where you're going to be this year, which is why you're having the McNary Gala and whatever else. You're going to do this again next year for the next person that you do this to, if you're never going to listen to them. So I wish you all the very best of luck with that.
I'd like to say something too, Larry. Kind of going along in the same spirit of what she's saying. Y'all were talking earlier in the meeting about you already had money appropriated to do certain things here. Is that money going to be tagged, earmarked to do this, this, and this before you ever put this advisory board together?
I mean,
There's no point in having an advisory board if you're not going to figure out, prioritize where that money needs to be spent and what order it needs to be spent in.
That would be the charge for that subcommittee.
That's
Number one, determine the priority needs. This has to happen first.
Yeah.
This has to happen second. And then secondly, the second charge is what additional venues can we go down to create revenue for this?
The commission then going to be, y'all are in charge of the purse strings, and y'all are going to be the ultimate.
The commission,
even though whoever the chairman is, the commission is going to say this is how the money's going to be spent.
They always do. They always do. But there is certain things that are in that grant. It is called out in that grant, certain items, but as far as prioritizing them, that's not an issue. You can do that. But there is, like the other stall barn, there is a storage building, there is hookups for the back, and all the different things that we need to complete this facility. But there's, and you could, if the committee wanted to change something, we could go back and ask for a scope change. You know, but we would have to ask for a scope change because there is certain items that are called out, but they can't.
now Larry, if I'm understanding correct, if we had a priority that's number one, that's not in the grant right now, correct? Then we'd have to do a scope change. But we do kind of have the ability, if it's in the grant, Calpats are in the grant, and that's the priority. Then all we've got to do is start pushing. Of course, you got to wait for the grant to be released.
With the grant, all you got to do is fill out in the portal, enter in the portal what that we want to do, like the hard surface panels, whatever you want to do. Enter it into the portal and get it approved, and you'll have to have a budget estimate, you'll have to cost and everything.
And it doesn't happen fast. The state of Tennessee is still slow to us. You know, but yes.
And I agree with something that y'all said earlier, about it doesn't all need to be about agriculture, but this committee. But when your first director was here, I called about booking an event, and I asked her price-wise. She said, I'll make it happen because agriculture is going to take priority. So if it was an ag center to begin with, you're going to have to prioritize where you spend your money on your infrastructure and get that part going. And then you may want somebody from the car community to come in and want to put in the car show. But y'all are going to have to figure out what your all's priority is too, and gear the how you spend that money additionally and get revenue coming in. And look, I'm not trying to sound superior because I'm not. I'm just an average old boy that works for a living. But I don't think none of us needs to be under the impression that this thing is gonna start making a lot of money and y'all gonna put $250,000 a year in the bank off of it. The money that's gonna be is gathered up to the county as revenue from people coming in and spending their money. If this thing gets to where it'll break even, you'll be doing good.
We're very profitable at that point.
All right, let's get back to something we said there a while ago. Let's go back over the structure. So we're gonna have a subcommittee.
Gonna tell this committee what their priorities.
There's been plenty of talk about the subcommittee, and we kinda got the gist of what they're gonna kinda do. They're gonna come and relay their thoughts to us, right, to this committee. What does this committee actually have authority to do?
Recommendations to the whole commission.
On what?
Anything dealing with executive session.
That's not right.
It's not.
That's what I would have thought too, but it's not right.
Where to go from there?
Well, I think we'll be in the same situation again if this committee is not over the director. If the director don't answer to this committee. So this committee does not have currently the authority to do anything with this building.
Well, I do know if it deals with funding, it's gonna have to go before.
It's funding, yes.
Yes.
But everything to do with funding is directly related to a director. Now, if a director don't answer to the committee, and I think it would be in the county's best interest. I know at work, I've got 100 and something people that answer to me every day, me alone. I'm not gonna talk to anybody if I'm talking to them in any kind of disciplinary type way. I'm not gonna talk to them by myself. And I know, well, there's some HR people, but I'm not gonna do that. I know better than that, okay? So I don't like having one person. I think it would be better for the county to answer to a committee. The director of, and I don't care who it is. Matter if it's you, that's great. If it ain't, it's something that's gotta be changed, guys. That's what's in the air right now.
But you can't change DCA, said county mayor.
Except for the director. You gotta have approval to hire.
Once the position is established, when the position is established.
But again, this commission can do that, Larry. With your blessing, it ought to be.
With a private act, some private act allows that to happen.
No, you're missing the point, what he's saying.
Well, no.
With your blessing, you ought to be blessing this committee. Yes, please, guys, y'all get this off of my plate. That's what you should be saying.
That's not the way the law is.
That's right. That's not the way you're going. So 6 months from now, we're going to be right back in the same situation.
Yep.
That's the animal in the room, and that's what we're here. We can talk about all this other stuff, but it ain't going to happen. The panels ain't going to happen. This ain't going to happen because we got 6 events scheduled without a director. A director needs to be answering to this committee. If this committee is going to be over this building, that's the animal in the room, and until we get to that point.
Well, I think the first thing.
It's useless.
We pay a man to tell us the answer.
And by the way, we've got somebody we're paying $30,000-$40-something $1,000, and I still can't tell you what his job is.
Look at the building, how clean it is, look at what we got set up here.
So we're paying a cleanup guy $30-40.
Everybody out here works for whatever.
I'm
Any
sorry.
adult should have an itemized list of the billing for every single thing done with the event center. And just for clarification, did you before the law that you, as the mayor, had the ability to hire and fire. The TCA?
TCA.
Tennessee Code Annotated
63106 specifies those.
I would
Yeah,
say,
this is-
Keith, for sake of argument, further thing, we'll just ask the question. We can do it in public meeting. They get it. But that's what we pay him for. Correct, Larry?
But what my point is, it shouldn't be to that.
Yeah, well, you know.
It shouldn't be
We're
to
working
that level.
together. We're all working together, yeah.
Well, no, we're not. We're not all working together.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, what you're saying there, but. It's a situation.
$6 million sitting here of taxpayer money boils down to one say-so, and we're fooling ourselves if we think we're getting anything done other than that.
Well, you can, all you gotta do is set the priorities and they'll be done. That's the idea of this committee, is set the priorities and what you want done, whether it's equipment.
No, it ain't.
What kind of event
No,
you
it's
want
not.
to have, or what it is.
Four on this committee asked you not to do some things in the past. Specifically, no, it ain't, no, tell me I'm lying.
Give your input.
It was four.
You're supposed to speak for us, and he's supposed to listen and then make a decision, but he is supposed to listen to the input and give it value.
And this is a little bit of our infighting, guys. I mean, this is county, I mean, I mean, you gotta have these discussions a little bit. It's hard, it's rough, I get it, like I said. I'm against him on this one situation, maybe, you know, maybe friends next time on another. But it's gotta be worked out. We gotta get this worked out.
You can't change it for this. You got the whole county, the city, you got the solid waste director, you got the fire chief, you got everybody else. They work well for everyone else. They work well for everyone else. It's the same situation. The TCA.
So the committees that's on here, you don't trust these committees and elected officials to make the decision on who to hire and who to, you don't trust, I mean, you're saying that we're not capable of making a decision.
To make whether to ratify that hire or not. That's what the TCA says.
It says what?
The county commission has the ability to vote for an individual or not.
That's right.
Ratify it.
That's right.
Doesn't say that you're not gonna hire them.
That's right.
Whoever.
But we have to ratify it. Whoever you hire. That's right.
It goes back to funding. That we're ratifying that position. All right.
Can I ask a question? Larry, what was your plan and your vision for this building when you started working on this thing? Did you have a plan for it to be prosperous for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
As I said earlier, you know, I've been doing it myself for a number of years, and everything that I did when I was in business was profitable. And no, I didn't have an idea that this would be profitable in 1 year or two. And I've said many times what I said earlier today, that it wasn't ever built, and I've said that from Keith to day one from conception. It's not about it being a cash cow for the county, but when we're top of the river. The guy came and saw me at the top of the river the Saturday night of the rodeo that we had out here last year. And the reason he came to talk to me was, he said, we've never had our parking lot full, where we had to have somebody out there parking cars on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, but we did this year. He said, I want to thank you for it. That's what this building is for that, and what Keith was talking about with the $500,000 that the guy talked about bringing here. It's about progress for Magnetic County. It's about a vision for progress. When I ran for county mayor, I said one word, said it many times, and every ad I ran, that's the change. The change is progress.
Progress is for the better, right?
Oh, it's absolutely for better, you know. It's for the kids of our county to have something to do. You know, like that young boy there was talking about, that's his goal. That sounds to me like, yeah. I want something the high schools can have. We can have high school graduation with what we've been parts of it down. We can have the endless what we can have with the schools, yeah.
Sounds like, to me, this is just me, I'm listening to this, and I've watched a lot of stuff and heard a lot of people talk. You made the same mistake that I made several years ago, Larry. I got into the truck farm, I thought I was gonna get rich. I planted 5 acres of watermelon, 5 acres of cantaloupe, I had 5 or 6 acres of sweet corn, and I made enough stuff to fill this room with. But guess what? I didn't make any money. Why? Because I didn't do any marketing beforehand. I didn't sell it because I didn't talk to nobody prior to that. And these people in this room right here give you all kind of information tonight. And there's another, I don't think Keith will hear me telling this. Several years ago, I have CNC experience, machining and programming machines. Don't tell all you know. I ain't gonna tell everything. But Keith was interested. He worked for doing some work for Caterpillar, and he wanted to buy a machine. But Keith didn't go buy that machine until he had worked for it. He made money by that machine the first day he had it in there because he had work lined up for it. And I don't know Valerie, I know Anthony, I know the family, and I heard what she said a while ago about having 25 things lined up for this year, and now you got 6. That don't make sense to me. That just don't make any sense at all. If you've got somebody that's helping you make money, line up events here, and that's the only way you're gonna make money, you can have all the grants in the world and put buildings all over this parking lot out here, and if you don't have a director telling you what you can do, what you can't do, and now here shaking the bushes and getting somebody lined up to come in here.
Wholeheartedly, you want your director to make money for you, that's 100% the goal.
That's exactly right.
100%.
But if you ain't got one, she sure ain't gonna make you no money.
That's true, but you can't build a building like this and have it booked when you build it because you don't know how long it's gonna take. And you can't build a building like this, a county can't build a building like this because we need those other amenities that's in that grant. And you can't afford to go out and just buy those. The county cannot afford to go out and buy those, so you have to apply for grants.
Oh, I'm not saying you shouldn't apply for grants, but you're getting the cart before the horse.
I knew it was gonna take a number of years. When we started this venture, I knew it was gonna take years to get this done. And it's gonna take a while to get it up and running.
You're gonna have to get somebody here to help you fill this thing up. Because y'all are not gonna do it. I appreciate y'all's work. I appreciate you sitting here taking all this criticism and all of that. But you're gonna have to listen to these people. And you're gonna have to get somebody in here that can direct y'all in the direction you need to go. And y'all can make up your mind then whether it's good or bad.
So bring her back, and if you need to change it out later, you can change it out later. But you need somebody now.
Well, and I hate to call out a discrepancy, but Mr. Mayor, you told me the day that you hired me, as well as it's at the top of the job description, that this building needed to break even or make money within 2 years.
I agree with that.
Because at the very first county commission meeting, I explained to all of you that in this industry of events, that's not feasible. If you break even in 3 years, it's great. If you turn a profit in 5, it's a miracle, and I've told all of you that. So saying that you didn't have a guideline for that would be inaccurate.
Actually, the job description said that the job would be for 2 years, and if it did break even in 2 years, you wouldn't have a job. And then if you did break even, any profit that was generated, you would get a bonus from that. And you would have the ability in this position to make as much as an elected official, but you could make, at that time, the job description said 50,000 a year, plus up to, I think, 30,000 that you could make additional. You could make up to $80,000 a year, but there had to be profit generated in there. That's what the job description said accurately.
Does anybody on the committee have any more business?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a second.
All in favor? Say aye. Anybody opposed? Every 2 hours, I hear everybody ready to go.